Day one, um, great to be back out and doing something really constructive. Start building this team, and we had a very good fall. I think that from a conditioning standpoint, I feel like we're at a point we haven't been. We're much further ahead. I think this was a intentional to be that. I think we did things a little bit differently this fall with a real heavy dose of the conditioning, knowing that we're going to be a little bit different and have to play a little bit in a different style. So I feel great about that. We got day one in the books. Typical day one, you wish you could bottle some of that energy and enthusiasm and open the jar in mid-January and utilize a little of that. But I've been very pleased with all of our freshmen. They have done a great job of picking up things. This is a cerebral group, and they ask a lot of questions, which is really unique. Usually we don't get guys that want to ask questions if they don't understand stuff. This group has been way above average in those areas. It's going to be fun and yet challenging to continually figure out all the pieces of this puzzle. And what I mean by that is you have some wing players who are very gifted, and finding out their strengths and finding out what we can do with those strengths is going to be fun. And you look at a lineup that we've looked at, Terrence Shannon playing some point, with some really big lineups and in terms of positional size. So we've got a lot of options. It's the strength of this team. And yet we've got to continue to grow that and build on that diversity on the offensive side. Defensively, I think this team can be one of the best defensive teams we've had. Now that I've said that, we'll probably give up 100. But I like this team. We've got to continue to build chemistry there on the defensive side. We've got to become a group that defensive rebounds. I keep telling them all the time that. I use Kansas as a reference. Their wings last year, 8, 7, 7, 7. There are 4 wings that were all in that 7 to 8 rebounds a game. We've got to get that from our guys this year. So all in all, it's exciting. We've got moved into Ubben. The players' areas are up and running, meaning the locker room, the court, and then Paul Schmidt's in the training room area, along with Fletch's weight room. We've got most of our staff in their offices. There's still a lot of the finishes that have to be done. I'm working out of a conference room now. The head coach's office is the last one to kind of get finished. And then there's still some work to be done in the academic areas. But very satisfied to be in there. What an incredible facility. Can't wait for you all to see it. I don't know when that'll be yet, when I'm going to let you guys in. But it's going to be a very special building, and it's much more conducive to a Big Ten basketball operation than what we've had in the past in terms of just space and the ability to train our athletes. So excited to be about that. We've got a great schedule. As all of you know, we're excited about the challenges that lie ahead. In the early part of the season, that will test us. And that's what we schedule these games for, is to get tested. So we know that come January, February, we're continuing to get better. There's no surprises. And we know, so to speak, what we've got to work on. Just can't go out and play a bunch of cupcakes, so to speak. we've got to get seasoned in a hurry. So excited about our schedule and looking forward to continuing with day 2.
Brad, you have 3 freshmen who are capable of playing the point guard, but inexperienced obviously at that position. What's the process of them getting into that role and probably knowing you're going to deal with some growing pains there?
Yeah, it's the good thing about those guys is physically we won't have a lot of limitations there. They're all 3 physically very strong. They have just what I'll say above average athleticism, quickness, strength. So that part of it's not. I don't have to worry about it. Now, just the subtleties of the game and how we want to play. And one of the things we're trying to do is obviously play a little faster. The game's already sped up for them, and now we're playing it at a fast pace. And we've got to have our wings help. We've got to continue to let these guys make mistakes. We've got to continue to strive to push them through mistakes and not lose confidence. And then we've got to show them a ton of film. And when I left, we already had a group in there watching film with coaches as I came over here. So this group likes to watch film, so that'll help expedite, I hope, some of their learning. But again, until you go out and face that competition, you don't know what it's like. So we'll grow with them, but I like this group a lot.
Brad, with the way the sport has changed, and quite frankly, the preseason calendar has changed, does today still feel like a first day, or because you've had TJ and Matt and all these new guys in for however many months in the summer, does it feel like today's a first day?
Yeah,
or?
It does. From this standpoint, I think when you can only go, 8 hours, it's really hard to string anything together. You just and the way we structure our fall stuff, there is a lot of individual. Now, we did a lot more teaching this year, but it's still day 1. We had different practice gear on. We had the new stuff on. We went longer. We'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then take an off day on Thursday. And then I've got my Brad School event this weekend where some donors will be in. And we'll have a great weekend of doing that. But when you can start to string stuff together and play through fatigue, and it's got a different vibe. But day 1 was pretty good, and our guys were hyped.
Can you really give us an update on Zach and kind of where his status is right now?
I got to be careful because of FERPA laws. I can't talk a whole lot about him. He's a recruited prospect, so he's not here.
Coach, you used the word fun a lot, describing coaching this team. What's fun about coaching this group? And as far as playing style and new players, this is going to be a fun team for the fans?
I'll be guarded when I answer that because I think we have fun when we win. I think if anybody said they didn't have fun last year and we were a little bit slower, then they probably need to have their head examined because that was pretty fun too. I think what's fun, what I'm enjoying is with veterans a lot of the times, and I'm going to use the word stale. It's probably not the right word. They knew everything. Trev Frazier could come run my practice, and he knew what I was going to say before I said it. This group has a young eagerness and energy about them that is exciting. And they really want to learn. They all have personalities that are set up for them to. They're excited to learn, and they want to be told what to do. And I've really enjoyed that. And then the X and O piece, which I love about practice. I knew last year, Kofi was getting the ball a lot, and everybody else knew that. And we knew where we were getting trench shots. The fun part about this is we're still working through that. We've still got to figure all of that out. I enjoy that. That to me, that's the fun of my job. And this group is versatile, and so there's a lot to play with there. And So it makes it fun. It makes it enjoyable, and yet have great appreciation for what last year's team did with some veterans.
Because this group is versatile and you're putting the pieces together, are you trying to bring in kind of what you're wanting to do, or are you letting what they are kind of dictate the style and scheme that you're going to put in place?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. You know, first of all, you know, if anybody was out on the recruiting trail, 7 foot, 300 pounds wasn't out there. And so now you're trying to find a way that one fits the way we want to play, the way I'd like to play most of the time, and yet be very successful. Positional size is something that we have really worked hard at obtaining, and knowing that you can still be big, you just don't have 7 foot, but you can be big at other spots. And you know, I look at Houston, you know, in the tournament, they weren't very big at the center spot, but they were very big at other positions, and that's kind of a model that we've worked very hard to work towards, going back a couple of years. And then you still have to have guards who can get in the paint, and you know, that was a goal in the recruiting process. So a little of both there.
It's kind of like the nuts and bolts of maybe having to scheme a little more and figure out what works in a post-Kofi world.
You know, I think it's every day. You know, I looked at some stuff in the fall that, you know, we threw out there, and it was just experiment. Let me look at this. And I'm a very visual guy. I can look at it on paper, and I can watch it on film, and I say, I like it, I like it, I like it. And as soon as I get out on the court, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't have doesn't look right. And so we did a lot of that this fall. The basis of what we did this fall was really teaching our guys how to play. And be unselfish, and very basic concepts and fundamental stuff. But you know, I think that you know, we're still trying to figure out, okay, you know, get a grasp of Terrence Shannon's game, and okay, can he score in the post? Is he this or that? Where's Matt comfortable? You know, where do we get RJ, you know, his opportunities at? So all of that stuff just plays into it, and you know, as chemistry builds and roles become defined, you know, it kind of works itself out in a lot of ways.
Matt was limited this summer with a back issue. How has that been so far this fall?
Yeah, he's been good. He unfortunately came in, and Matt wasn't in great shape when he got in, but he has worked really hard at that aspect of it, and his back held him up, and now he's cleared. He's done a great job of rehabbing that, and you know, here in the last 10 days, 2 weeks has been full go.
Seems like a big year for Coleman Hawkins. How has he embraced that, and do you expect him to take a big jump?
Yeah, I think my expectations changed for him, and I think he understands that. And you know, he's had his best summer. You know, you're talking about a young guy that, again, had to live COVID years and didn't have off seasons and didn't have summers, and you know, Coleman as a junior is finally back in classes, you know, attending classes, you know, and not doing everything online. So my expectation for him is that he'll be one of the best players in our league. I know what he's capable of on the defensive side. His versatility allows him to play multiple spots. He'll play everything from the 5 to, you know, a perimeter spot for us, and defensively he can handle those responsibilities. But you know, as a veteran, the adversity that he went through last year has helped him grow. It's made him stronger. It's made him better, and I think he's been very committed to working on things that most people thought were weaknesses, but yeah, he's been very, very good.
Brad, you mentioned, I think last week, that the team's chemistry is really good, despite not playing a lot together yet. What have you seen from that? Like, why do you think this group has good chemistry already?
Just when you're around them, and I think one of the things that excites me a lot about being back in Ubben is we get back around them a lot. And you know, it was one of the challenges this summer is, you know, we were in Vice and working out at the rec center and working out at State Farm, and we weren't around them a lot. But this group does everything together. and they're funny. They hang out. You know, just this morning, the first morning that we actually had breakfast in oven, and you know, everybody's sitting in there and just talking and those things. That can be unique when you've come off a practice floor and been competing. But this group has been very understanding of what it takes to win, what it takes to compete, and knowing, you know, hey, when we step off the court, you know, that's my teammate. And I've got a great feeling about that.
Is there any hesitation with your staff, or Fletch about how much you're pushing Sky, or are you physically past it? Is he physically past that now?
Yeah, he's physically past it. I'm trying to do everything I can to, you know, to get him be able to play conditioning-wise as many minutes as he's capable of playing. And it's more, it doesn't have anything to do physically as much as, you know, young man set out a year, and he's got to play a lot. He's got to feel that up and down hurt that comes from being tired and push through that.
You talked a lot about Terrence and his work ethic. Is there been a trickle-down effect from him to some of the younger guys on the team with other guys?
Oh, there's no doubt. That's one thing about our young guys. They all work, and yet now they've seen a guy that's an older guy who's had success, and he's gone above and beyond that, you know. And it's like, whoa, you know, here's a guy who's we all know is really good, and here's how hard he's working. So, you know, Terrence stopped to play today because somebody didn't run the floor hard. I didn't have to do that. He just stopped. He said, no, that's not what we're doing. And we went back and we did it again. That person ran the floor really hard this time. And that's just an unbelievable leadership. That's the kind of leadership that we've known and grown to accept here in our program. That was a Trent Frazier, Io DeSumo type move right there. And you know, so he backs it up not only with his time, but with his demand.
The emphasis on conditioning, did Fletch get a bigger chunk of the 8 hours in the fall and summer?
No, he restructured it a little bit, I think, in terms of what his emphasis was. We also were very pointed in terms of how we wanted to handle our individual workouts in terms of running. Before it might have been a little more stationary drill to drill type stuff. We incorporated a lot more of that into my time, so to speak. So we doubled down on both of those things a little bit.
I guess with that development with Zach, that in theory, I guess opens up a scholarship. How much does that either change or not change your roster building plan for this year and future years?
No, it doesn't, and we're still very hopeful that young man stays a part of our program, and we know we've got needs, and with the portal, you'd be foolish not to recruit every position and establish not just a group of freshmen, but also you got to start paying attention here to the portal here mid-semester and what guys may become available, and if there's we've got opportunities at semester again, we'll sure look at those if they fit what we're doing.
Your thoughts on the portal window, the transfer window that's been going on?
Well, I like the structure of it. I can't wait till we see how many teams in the NCAA tournament have guys leave while they're still playing. And so coaches are going to have to deal with, it's the Monday after Selection Sunday, the portal opens. So you could be getting ready for an NCAA tournament game, and you could have guys on your team that I assume would probably not be playing, but may enter the portal at that time. That'll be a unique new wrinkle for us to have to deal with, and what should be the most exciting time of the year. So, but it'll happen. I just hope and pray it doesn't happen to us.
With the main event coming up so quick in Vegas, is there a feeling that you have to speed things up a little bit in practice to get ready for that event?
You know, I think that we're always trying to find the right pace of preparation. You know, unfortunately, I don't determine that. If they get it, they get it. If they pick, you know, if they can pick things up, we want to move on. I think it puts tremendous value on your scrimmage. I think it puts tremendous value, you know, on your exhibition game. You know, those are very different. You know, when you scrimmage and you can get locked in a gym with an opponent and you can go at it. And then you play an exhibition and you get in front of the fans. And so there's a very different experience there. You know, obviously I think UCLA will be a top 10 team somewhere. I think they're very good. Obviously Mick does a great job. And, you know, then you get Virginia, who's, you know, very, very old and experienced, and you know, Baylor, who's a year removed from a national championship. So it's a great field, and you know, we're not going to back down from anybody, but we're going to have to be prepared and again lean on leadership and lean on experience, but know those young guys are going to have to grow up quick.
I think it's time for two more. You're kind of talking about trying more unique kinds of lineups and different kinds of lineups. In kind of a practice period, what's your strategy for kind of sifting through those and figuring out what works and what you want to go with?
I don't know yet. You know, I think I change them every day in practice right now. I think we take a lot of notes coming from practice and competitive things where we see, you know, offensive efficiency, what our DER is with certain groups, you know, today's lineup won't look like yesterday's, and it's just a matter of throwing them out and trying to figure out, okay, you know, if we have a lineup with you know, Sky and Jaden in, what does that look like, and who can we play with them, and so it's a constant day to day. You know, we got 29 more days, and you know, hopefully a few more 30, 31, 32 practices to help kind of figure that stuff out.
You mentioned some of the physical tools of the freshman guards. What have you seen from Sky, Jaden, and Ty, who can man that position?
Yeah, I mean, they're each very different. You know, I mean, Ty's a guy that can just bully you. He can overpower you. He's elite on the defensive side. He's as advanced a freshman on that side of the ball as I've seen. You know, his length. He's just so strong. He can get the ball places that it's allows him to be successful. And he's a very good passer. You know, and then Sky is, you know, Sky can really shoot it. He's getting his pop back in his legs. Went up and dunked the ball today, and you know, over a guy, and so it's nice to see those things. Jaden's just a guy that lives in the paint. I mean, he just knows how to score. So they're all a little bit different. They've all got some basic things, ball screen coverages, reads, that they've got to learn. But like I said, the physical tool side of things, I feel good about, because you know, that's the stuff that sometimes gets you overwhelmed, and those guys shouldn't physically get overwhelmed.
Okay, that'll wrap us up for today.